Phase 3 of Season of Discovery has been out for nearly 6 weeks, and we've had a total of 6 resets of Sunken Temple so far, which means we're getting closer to the point where we'll find out more information about Phase 4. As with all new phases, there will be more rewards, newer profession recipes, higher ranks from PvP, and much more. So with this in mind, while there's currently not a ton to do in Phase 3, you could spend some of that time preparing for Phase 4. So firstly, let's talk about reputations. There's quite a few reputations you can work towards going into Phase 4, but most notable ones should definitely be the PvP faction reputations with Warsong Gulch and Arathi Basin. If you haven't yet hit Exalted, it'd be a good idea to work towards trying to max out these reputations, as Warsong Gulch will continue to provide an upgrade to the current epic bracers that have been available for level 40, 50 and going on into level 60. These bracers for some classes will most likely stay BIS early on into level 60 gearing, as historically these bracers such as the plate versions were very powerful, even all the way up until later content phases such as Anchorage. In addition to the bracers, at level 60 you'll also have access to epic leggings, some armor types being noticeably more powerful than others. However, even if new itemization comes out in the early stages of level 60 which are more powerful than these rewards, there will still be an immediate power increase to what you're currently using. Arathi Basin will also offer some powerful rewards at level 60. There will be a 3-piece set for all armor types which can be a decent upgrade, and most notably casters will have access to some great spell power weapons such as the spell power dagger, which isn't too far behind the old mage blade that dropped in Molten Core. The next thing you could be preparing is professions. While we currently cannot learn many of the high level recipes that drop from certain dungeons or raids, we can always be prepared by having our professions at the max level of 300 ready for the next phase. With this, the chances are that any new craftable from your selected profession will likely require 300 to learn and craft. If your profession is already at 300, you should instead be aiming to gather some materials for certain crafts. Some crafts have always historically proven to be very powerful and would be extremely hard to replace even with new itemization. A great example of this would be the Lionheart Helm from blacksmithing. Some materials you could gather right now or even buy off the auction house while the prices are cheaper could be materials such as Arcanite Bar, Blue Sapphire, Azerothian Diamond, Wicked Claw, Mooncloth, various different essences, and Golden Pearls. There will of course be many more materials you could also aim to grab early, so I'd highly suggest looking into what you'd be able to craft in the coming phase and plan accordingly to your profession. Moving on, if you're a mana user, you should aim to farm up some demonic runes. You might think and feel right now that mana isn't an issue, and you probably don't even need to use a mana potion depending on what class you play. But in a blue post around a month ago on the 12th of April, it was stated that, in general, we feel that mana as a resource should matter, and in the next patch we're going to evaluate and tune down mana return mechanics as a whole to ensure that there is still gameplay around managing it. With this, we can comfortably assume that in Phase 4, mana will once again become a resource that cannot be taken for granted, because not only are the mana return mechanics likely to be nerfed, but the raid encounters in general will likely last longer than they currently do. So in preparation, you could start to stack up demonic runes, as they do not share a cooldown with any types of mana potion. Though a quick note, they do share a cooldown with mage mana gems, however if the fight lengths are long enough then they are still useful for mages also. The Hidden Blackrock Depths quest for the Rainbow Generator is another way you can slightly prepare for next phase. The toy itself is useless, but the completion also gives you 3 student fodders, and as we know from the previous Sleeping Bag questline, will net you 20% rested experience and should work at any point, meaning you can save them and use them for the final level just before 60 for the most benefit. If you're unfamiliar with the Hidden BRD Quest, you should look up a guide on how to complete it, as it requires a certain way to not only reach the dwarf, but also a certain way in which the dwarf doesn't retreat. The Onyxia Attunement is a very long quest chain that once the attunement is complete, allows the player to enter Onyxia's lair. It's notorious for being one of the longest attunements in World of Warcraft. If you're an Alliance player, you can start the attunement in Burning Steps, starting with a quest called Dragonkin Menace. From here you can continue the quest chain right up until a quest called A Shred of Hope. This is currently as far as you can go in the quest chain, as this quest requires you to get quest items from killing both Angerforge and Golem Lord in Blackrock Depths, both of which are currently unavailable as they're too busy getting pissed up in the Grim Guzzler. Sadly for Horde players, you can't start the attunement just yet, so you'll unfortunately have to wait until next phase when you're a higher level. You can also prepare some of the honor tokens from the Stranglethorn PvP event. Similarly to the previous phase, you can stack them up now, ready to use them once the new phase hits. However, I will say that it is heavily nerfed now compared to how it used to be previously. You can now only stack up to 99 of the commendation, as they are unique 99, and now they cost 1 silver coin instead of 250 copper coins. But with this being said, a boost of 25k honor will definitely be a helping hand, as if you want to leap from rank 7 to rank 9 in the first week, you'll need around 256,000 honor. so getting even just 10% of the way there instantly is a much needed boost, especially as we're not too sure what the PvP rewards will be yet, as rank 9 will just miss out on the full set of rank 7, rank 8 and rank 10 set pieces, so I'd imagine they'll give new rewards like they have done in each phase so far. Lastly, some other quick things to note that you could also do in preparation for the next phase could include farming your gold for your epic mount. As we know, at level 60 you'll have access to your epic mount, and in classic it doesn't come cheap, so farming up to 800 to 1000 extra gold to be able to comfortably afford your epic mount could be a good idea. If you already have some spare gold right now, you could also buy some consumables ready for the next phase before there's potentially even more gold inflation. If the next phase of Season of Discovery follows similar to Season of Mastery, we should be able to access our tier 0.5 at the start of the next phase, meaning some classes can get some great items from this tier set and will require certain materials to complete the quests, which you could look into ahead of time and farm up. Last to note is that you could get any remaining runes that you might be missing, as you never really know when they could become good or even useful for other things such as farming. Now, I was also going to include a little section for a quest log full of completed quests so you can hand them in as soon as the new phase hits. The reason I'm not going to include it in this video is that if I was going to go into every quest specifically, it might take a little bit too long. So subscribe to the channel and keep your eyes peeled, because I may release a video on the 20 best quests you can get and complete right now for the best XP returns the second the phase hits. But other than that, if there's any other ways that you guys are preparing for the next phase, let me know down below, and hopefully phase 4 won't be too far around the corner. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.